ladies and gentlemen, here we are today, and we're putting on our new, improved, I don't know, leg holders, arm holders, and I don't know if you can see that, but somebody will complain, doesn't matter. I've got a hoodad I made here for this very job of placing a nut in there. Wait for it to go in properly, and it doesn't. There we go. It's just a hole with a slot in the side so a nut can fit in there. And that is going to clamp on to this piece here on the corner. And that clamps onto the side of our glass bed. Now, I did this so as I could lower the height of the bed, plus get a more accurate adjustment than sitting up in mid-air waving around. I think I mentioned that before, about it being like that. Oh dear. So we'll just close that. Oops. And that's my box of nuts and bolts. We've used a million bolts and nuts and God knows what else on this job. You do that on the big jobs. Why isn't that screwing up? Probably because I need something to wedge in there. Use the old technical pair of scissors just to hold the nut until it firms up. Keeps all the slip off. Need 3 hands. Ooh. There we go. It's nice and firm. So what we've got there now, here it is, that's why I couldn't find it. We've got this, whoops, dropped 2 nuts, this sort of system going, where we have the springs on a bolt, and the bolt is going to be bolted down to here, right? It's going to be mounted firm, and I'll just have to what do you call it? Mark it out and bolt it down. Now that will bring it up to about that height from the base. So what we've got here, ladies and gentlemen, is a new and improved, basically 3D printer. I actually yesterday worked it and it ran. So here we go. Here's our Marlin 3D printer. I don't know if we can see that. Can we see that? I think it's too difficult and contrast and such to see it run, but we've got motion. Let's see what we've got here. We've got all the axes running. What are you doing there? Going auto home? There's no auto home because there's no stops. Motion X. Let's do 10. Probably got it the wrong way around. Yeah, I have. And that's that one. And Y. Can't be why. Yeah. Well, not very clever. Try X again. X. That's not X. I have to go and change these around a little bit. But basically that's all working so far. Z-axis, which will be hotbed, too cold. Okay. Z-axis, 10. It's going the wrong way. Oh, good news. Yeah, not to worry. There's no end stop on it, so it's a bit upset. Should go back the other way in a minute. I'm going to do all the calibrations. Come on. I don't think that's too happy. Is that not plugged in properly? Ah, look, they're going the opposite way to each other. I've got to take them out and swap them around. That's what it is here. They have to be turned around on the board, because that's supposed to be the Z-axis. So I have to change a lot of that in the oh, shush up. In the, I know how to fix it. There you go. It's fixed. I have to change a lot of that in the controls. Is it even on? It says it's on. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our singular bar across the top for the, what is it? That's the Y-axis. The X-axis has to be changed in the coding here, so as it runs, and the Z-axis also has to be changed in the coding, so as it runs. But basically, what we've got is the. Let's just turn it up there. What are we seeing? Yeah. Hello. Got an orange thing back there. This is the Z-axis, and I've got one rail going up and down, and here we have a 50-to-1 or 2-to-1 reduction. So the motor goes 2 times for the amount that it would go to move it that far. So it's reduced because that's on a pulley system. See that? It goes down, wraps down, through the motor, back up to the top, and then back down to the holder. So that's a 2-to-1 reduction on the motor, so it's very strong there, and it can hold exact position very easily. And I have to do all of that calibrations on the Ramps Marlin software. So yeah, just a moment, we'll come back to you. Here we have the nut. This is the nut for there, and I've got a 3D printed nut, and it's got a 3D printed recess in there for the nuts to go in, so as it can go on the thread. The only problem with it is that when I printed it, this has come out too small, so there's a hole in the centre. So I've got to drill out the hole without chewing up my hand. It's a very unhappy sort of drilling process. I've got to just hold it with the shifter and not run it into my hand. This is dangerous. I hate this thing. There we go. So I've already screwed one of those self-tapping screws into my finger. That was clever, but we'll survive. So what we've got to do is put our, that's a mess in there, put our bolt in, put our nut on top, and then we've got to force it in. And what I do is I just put it on a long, I've lined that up with this hex on there, a long bolt, hold it with the big shifter, and just screw it up at the back, so as you can see it. This is not fun, stay still, you naughty nut. Yes, try again, hold that in there, hold that in there, screw it up, and we should be screwing that in. There we go. You see the nut is going into the plastic retaining hex, and it will be firm as, because have to force it in, it's not going to fall out. So that goes in there. I do that a lot with the plastic parts, try and force the nut in. This wasn't really on purpose, it just happened to come out that way. I did the hex hole big enough, but after printing it, it has come out slightly smaller. I've heard of a few that say, oh, you've got to make your printing dimensions on FreeCAD bigger by so much, so as it takes up the shrink or the hole size. So there we go. We want another spring, which is not here. Where's my spring? I hate it when that happens. I've lost my spring. Where are you? Oh no. Another disaster. So we want our spring for that side, like there, but we don't know where him are. I think somebody's stolen it, the spring thief. Well, it's got to be here somewhere. I don't know where it is. Can't be too far away. Ah, there it is, I found it. There it is in there. There's a spring, and we put that on there like that. We wind that down to the bottom, and then we put that through there, and that way all of our yeah, that one's got to be wound down to the bottom too. We'll do that later. All of the things will fit. So there we go. Put our nut on there. See how that all works out? That works out pretty good. Fuck it. I'm not supposed to swear on YouTube, but fuck it. Yeah, so we've got our cross travel, our up and down travel. We've got a little bit of movement in that. Thinking about it might be okay. We've got our forward and back travel. We've got our bed. We've got our ramps hardware, which is here. Lots of wires are all out the back here. There's wires everywhere, got to be tidied up. And we've got our ramps discount graphics smart controller, and that is that. Alright, so I think we're ready to go. We've got to have a shout out for all the crowd in Libra IRC channel. Who have we missed over the years? I don't know. We've said Cal Wiggs or whatever his name is. He's a Yank. We've got El Kabong. He's a Yank. We've got Coitus something Coitus. He's a Yank. They've all got strange names. you know, things like that. We've got Roofy. He's a yank. He's a bit of a weirdo, that one. He's alright though. Comes to the channel and talks a lot. We've got Verity. She's a fertile young lady down in Melbourne. We've got Aidan. He's a firefighter, paramedic, jack of all trades. He's a very community-minded chap. He has been going to university and learning his paramedic stuff. Good on you, Aidan. And who else? There's Doobs. He's a banana bender in Queensland. And also Disavow. He's the 2IC of the channel, brains of the unit. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen.